Good afternoon, all participants.
Good afternoon, sir.
Live streaming.
Within a minute, we'll start the session. I request all the participants to mute your audio. At the end of the session, we will have the question and A, okay, Q&A. And in between, we will have one short break after clarification, which we are getting about 5 points in 10 changes in GST. We'll have 5 minutes break. Once again, welcome all for the virtual talk for MSME on 10 changes in GST as per new notification 94 for 2020. And today's speaker is CA Bhaskar Acharya, M, Chartered Accountant. I welcome you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll go with the profile of Bhaskar Acharya, sir. Qualification is Chartered Accountant by profession with more than 3 decades of experience of handling various corporate and taxation challenges. And post-graduation in commerce, CMA graduate, and holds a certification course on indirect taxes issued by premier accounting body in India, ICA. And profile, it is a short profile, just I will be highlighting on SAR's profile. Presently, he is associated with the industry and audit firms in the capacity of consultant cum financial advisor on matters such as the corporate structuring and various corporate strategy initiated for MSMEs, fundraising, statutory compliance, particularly GST. And SAR is GST expert. Before GST coming to implementation, earlier we had a nice experience about his talk. And again, one more opportunity we got to with this talk to organize the program 10 challenges in GST as per the new notification. And further, he is handling the issues on various subjects such as corporate restructuring taxation, issues both direct and indirect, and investment strategies, corporate challenges, vice versa, NRI investments, transaction structuring under FEMA, and he has been guest faculty in management schools such as ICPAI and other colleges as well. Has conducted many corporate training programs for finance and accounts professionals. He has co-authored a book on GST for professional for smooth implementation of the Act. Okay, this is a short introduction about the CA Bhaskar Acharya, sir. Okay, now you can take your session, sir. I once again welcome you.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Shukmar Garu. It's a pleasure being introduced to this forum. And it's my privilege to be talking on this subject, which is hot as on date, which is surprisingly is hugely concerning to many, but I see not required that much of frenziness. It's not that it will have to be taken on such a huge, what you call magnified thought process. It is simple. If you make it simple, it is very simple. I believe in that. And as I said, I thank you for this forum being given me to share my views. Hope you are now sharing the screen as well to me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, you can share the screen, sir. Already we made a co-host. You can share yourself, sir.
Is it? 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. 1 minute. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us, because of the time constraint,
Just a
let us.
minute, sir. Just a minute.
Yeah.
I request all the participants to mute your audio. You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, audience. Hope you are all finance professionals or accounting team of whichever organization you are from. As I feel it's my responsibility to give you a very responsible statement in this forum, so that I give you all people a kind of comfort while implementing in whichever capacity you are associated with your organization. Let me frank with you all that this notification, no doubt, is throwing few challenges. I don't say it's as simple as I would like to make it to look like. Fact of the matter is that, this notification coming from which background? Why this notification is so insistent on certain provisions, which for naked eye looks like a very draconian. What I mean is very intimating. I mean, the more I read into it, I get a feel, can industry really implement it? Can real industry can comply with those kind of things? So it's like a situation where we have to really practical, and we have to see all these things from a very pragmatic perspective, meaning don't see it beyond a point. Just restrict your thought process, what the notification says, and be on the right side of the law, so that we can face any challenge eventually which will come out. Meaning, see, we all know 2 plus 2, 4, 2 minus 2, 0. This is the general rule, right? As long as we follow this principle, there is nothing going to really disturb our day-to-day administration, is what my strong feel. Having said, I will go through all these provisions quickly to make you to understand what could be challenge, how we can mitigate. Is there a possibility of mitigation? If so, how? So the point is, all these provisions, whether they are legal challenges or operational challenge. First, we have to understand, this is very important understanding. If you have this understanding, probably your problem is solved by 50%. If you take, I will demonstrate with a couple of case studies to make it very easy for you as the session progresses. What I mean by legal challenge. Honestly, I believe as a practicing chartered accountant, having gone through the provisions in detail, the notification is contradictory to many of the things what the provision says in the act. I can illustrate with the technical background, but see, I want to limit this discussion to an extent because we have to understand the operational challenge more. So legally, what does it mean? If you go to section 16, most of you must be familiar by now. If not, please read through it at your leisure. you will get to know what I mean. This notification, which is as a direction which is coming to industry, if you really break down that and match with the provisions as per section 16, internally we have a solution. I strongly believe there is a solution for us to do what I am saying operationally. The reason being, again, the section 16 says as long as eligibility criteria for a input tax credit, because I will focus more into out of the 10 items, close to 5 items are very simple to manage. I don't see any challenges. Let us not get bogged down by those things. Importantly, input credit management and that restriction of 99%. These are the two very important case studies which I want to deliberate, and at least end of this session, few of you must understand that, yeah, if this is so simple, why so much of resiness? So coming back, if you see the section 16, eligibility for input tax credit, it is very clear. As long as you received supply of input and services and you have a valid invoice drawn on you,
Sir, you are on mute.
now I am audible?
Yeah, audible, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, I was telling, as long as you have invoice under your control, drawn on your name, you have received the supply and goods of services, and it is in the course or furtherance of business. These are the very important points. The provision says so. If you can establish these 3 points, I personally feel no one can deny our fundamental right of taking input tax credit. Because what Act wants you to ensure that you received that supply, you have taken the credit based on the bona fide merits of the invoice as well as your liability to pay the creditor. Now, what is this then all about? It is actually the people who are doing with malified intentions. Please understand. These notifications will not impact the people who are actually doing with the as the compliance as their core. If they are doing, I don't see any challenge. In fact, I advise a few industries where, in fact, I can proudly say all of them are not actually bothered by these notifications. The reason, we are doing right things. As per GST, what we have to do, as long as we keep doing, don't bother about the implications. Of course, 1 or 2 challenges, I will give you an operational perspective, and I will give you a way forward plan. Probably that will help you all in this forum. So now coming back. Now, if you see section 16, as I would like to reiterate once again, please, you can all go through this provision once again. This is a very important notification for provision for all of you to understand. As long as you have a valid invoice in your control, you have received supply of goods and services, and it is received in the course or furtherance of business. If you can establish these facts, am I okay? Am I audible now? I'm
Audible, sir.
getting a message that I'm muted. It's okay, right?
Just a minute, sir. I request all the participants to mute your audio. Yeah, you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So the point again, I'm coming back is, there are some conditions when they put, there are some additional conditions, which is very important and important for all of us to understand. See, if I have not made the payment within 180 days to my vendor, if I have not made a payment to my vendor, whomsoever I got the material or services within 180 days, I will have to reverse the credit. There is another deterrent. Why I am giving all this legal perspective, not to talk purely technical, the inbuilt deterrents in the act, if we are very clear, then whole discussion becomes meaningful. So 180 days, if I don't make the payment, credit I have to reverse, and as and when I make the payment, I will have to take back the credit. This is very clear in the provision. Now, also very important, this is the very important thing which will help us. Please understand, this is a very important point. I'm making it and you can note it down. Anyone have got any much detailed review on this wanted? Please feel free to be in touch base. I will clarify after the session or sometime. You can take my number from Mr. Shivkumar, and I'm happy to. But in this forum, I can't go in detail to discuss. I am just giving a background why these provisions are as simple. Here, what it says: any bills pertaining up to March of previous year, I can take input credit max by September. That means while I file my October return, right? Hope you all agree with me.
Yes, sir.
Any bills pertaining up to March, maximum time limit to take the credit is September. That means October return when I file, I can take the credit. After that, I will lose that credit. So now, if really, if I see this is the big legal validation. What I am trying to say. What if someone for March failed to file his return, and he just don't file that return even after September? My maximum time limit to take the credit is September. So by restricting my credit with whatever that 5% of the only credit, the whole situation becomes legally a contradictory point. What I am really looking into, and can it be challenged? I feel we have a strong reason to challenge it. So legally there is a recourse. I mean, it's not that it's completely a one-sided provision to make our life tough. It's not like that. There is a legal provision. There are many such things available. I can debate it in length, but let us go to the real challenge what we are now focusing in today's session. Operational challenge when I come, let me get back to, see, I just want to start on this restriction on claim of ITC as per rule 3641. Just I will read it out for the convenience of all of us, so that we will get into it what exactly it means. The claim of ITC in respect of invoices not furnished by the corresponding vendors has now been restricted to 5% of the credit available in GSTR 2B. What does this mean? If you all know by now, I think if you have been filing the returns earlier also, and earlier this was 10%, and well, beginning it was 20%. I will simplify it through an illustration. Suppose let us assume, as per my accounting records, I have got 100 rupees of input credit. My input records, when I purchase entries after passing, I have got a total 100 rupees of my input credit. And when I went to my GSTN portal in 2A or 2B, I saw 80 rupees equivalent invoices have been uploaded by my vendors. Now, what does this mean? The remaining 20 rupees is not yet uploaded. As simple as this. What this provision, this particular rule says, in that case, your credit is restricted to 80 rupees plus 5% on that, 84 rupees. Though technically, as per section 16, you are eligible for rupees 100. By virtue of this section, it is restricted to 84 rupees. What about the remaining 16 rupees? It is not loss. As per this one, as and when you see that in 2A once again, subsequent period, you can take back the 16 rupees. So if you read through this provision, it is very simple. There is no challenge. But the real challenge is reconciling the account, keeping the track of it, and managing that carry forward credits. And also, most of you might be familiar how the GSTN portal works now. If you are not familiar, I will tell you some of the vendor who did not file last quarter or earlier quarter return, as and when he files, this actually gets updated in the pertaining period. It is not that it will be updated in the next period. It goes back to the back. That means literally every industry now will have to have one GST accountant. His job day in, day out to reconcile if the volume of transactions are too many. So now the point, let us come back to our original discussion. If this 16 rupees is restricted, this is a challenge what whole industry is talking about. That will increase the working capital burden by 16 rupees. Because I'm eligible to take 16 rupees credit, but because of this section, my credit is restricted. So that means additional outflow. Now I will explain you. Shall we really be bogged down by this section so much so that we lose our peace of mind? I don't suggest. In fact, I remember long back as a incident happened with me. I would like to share through this forum to you all. I remember July 1st, 2017, when GST bill was supposed to be passed. I was called to Vijayawada by RERA to, they have organized a seminar like this. And I could see the frenziness as if July 1st, when the GST is going to come, entire industry is going to collapse. That kind of feel was there with every member in the forum there. Then I felt a little embarrassed to tell them that nothing like that, nothing has happened. In fact, everything went smooth. Similar feel I am getting now. Today, in fact, since morning, I got at least 10, 15 calls. Sir, what to do after January 1st? Please do your business. Don't worry. Nothing is going to change. You only keep doing your business. You be on the right side of the law. All these things, whatever has come as a notification, I am sure are a kind of deterrents being put in by government to ensure that some finance discipline. What I mean by discipline, there are a lot of things have happened which we are not privy to. We have not seen those things happening at a big level. People are using the shortcuts to reduce their liabilities. Fake bills have been done, uploaded without any corresponding remittance by those fake bill generators. And the kind of technology what now government is having under its disposal, and through their artificial intelligence mechanisms what they have, and due to data analytics, they could track all these transactions. Is what is the strong reason for this notification coming? They could see people are doing malified ads with the intention to defraud the revenue and take maximum benefit, and wherever possible to take shelter in the bargain, saying that government is very draconian. So sensing all these things happening at ground zero, probably government came out with a mechanism to say that if someone is not filing his return, they are treating it as something serious fraud. That might be wrong. There may be some genuine cases. I'm not saying out of 100, all the 100 are going to do the same thing. But even one or two, when they do it in a large scale, is the government's perception, and they want to mitigate that by having a kind of this stronger and stringent provisions through a notification. They are doing it. How far this will really be implemented at ground zero, I'm doubtful, because nowadays I'm little hesitant in talk in the public platform. Either do or don't do. The reason is, when I said do, people have followed, but the next moment it was removed. So the people who have followed have questioned me, sir, you made us to pay this tax, now it is removed. You have made a, so it is, I'm on a conscious note saying, whatever you would be doing, you have to be prudently doing with a very important, what you call compliance as the caution. So now coming back, what will happen if I will illustrate it? Don't worry. I will again reiterate this point. This is my key subject today. I want to take to you all. Other few things after the thing we will discuss. They are all very fairly, easily to understand. I don't think all of you, maybe if you are already working in an organization, you need not be worried about all those registration process. They are also came only with this in mind, because people are getting registered in no time and using that as the process to raise fake invoices and pass on the credit to the recipient. There is a kind of nexus is there. To break that, they are trying to do it, what I believe in. So by any reason, if you are not able to take this as the provision says or as the rule says, any claim exceeding the specified limit shall result in violation of CGST with rules, and it will result into suspension of GSTN as described above. This is where people are getting scared. This is what they are all worried about. What it says, any claim in excess of specified limit. What I mean is just now in the illustration what I said you all, as per the 100 rupees input, 80 available and 20 not yet filed, we are supposed to take only 84 rupees credit. Now, by any chance, if you take entire 100 rupees, ignoring this notification, you are liable for suspension of GSTN. You will be suspended. That is the key here. Now, this suspension is unrestricted. I mean, it is so, what I mean, the suspension, will it be one-sided? I doubt, because the registration provisions, if you go and read from section 22, 23, 24, and cancellation, revocation, registration, everywhere the provision says opportunity of being heard. As long as you are on the right side of the act, as I keep telling to all of my clients, opportunity of being heard is one very important saving grace for all of us. If you are in the, if you are doing very compliantly all the things, we need not worry about it. We can demonstrate to them, saying that this is what we have done. So for example, I don't know how many of you are actually seeing your GSTN portal. In fact, my assistant today morning came to me and showed me in one of the client's records. The clients, as per the client's records, the input credit available for the month of November is only rupees 2 lakhs. It is available as per input records, it is 2 lakhs. Whereas in the GSTN portal, we don't know where from that number came, because it is automatically calculating, I believe, by applying this 5% rule for submitted and unsubmitted. It is showing something around 6 lakhs as eligible credit. Now he is confused what to do, whether shall I take 6 lakhs or shall I take only 2 lakhs? What if I 2 lakhs, will it be resulting in a non-compliance? Will I be given a notice? Sorry, don't worry. You need not worry on those fronts. As I said, section 16 is very clear. You have a valid invoice under your control. You have received the supply and it is in the course or furtherance of business. You just close your eyes and take the credit. What portal says, you don't worry. As far as not filed invoices by your vendor, I will give you through an illustration after the first break, where I will explain you what you can do. So let us keep that session a post break. Let us discuss this in detail so that when I come to that case study, you will fairly understand what I am trying to emphasize again and again and again. The provision shall come into effect from 1st January 2021. Very interesting. The provision shall come into effect from 1st January 2021. Now, meaning November we are not worried, we can file. December we can go ahead. January means February filing. Before that, I am seeing the way in which GST is responding to industry representations from various bodies. something will come out as a solution to this. You need not worry. It will come out with something for sure, is my gut feel, by having seen all this happening around. But even otherwise also, you need not worry. As I said you, my illustration will clarify that point. Now, the taxpayer who's restricted to avail ITC as per 86B shall also not be permitted to file GSTR 1 when he has not filed GSTR 3B for the preceding tax period. People are taking objection to this, which I feel is not right. Anyhow, provision says you have to file every month's return next month. Every month's return is to be filed next month. Otherwise, you have opted for quarterly filing. So they are reiterating that point. The government wants us to be regular. Now point comes from the industry. I have seen, in fact, I am also part of industry, cash flow challenges, huge post-COVID. We are all going through a very tough phase. We all know that. How to manage cash flow apart, we are discussing here. How best we can manage operationally the current intent of this particular notification. So point again, dear audience, is to say that this 105% of the credit reflected in GSTR 2B can be managed through a very well mitigated operational plan, provided we all understand the compliance requirement from government's perspective. So this is the other thing what is very interesting. GSTR 1 to be blocked in case of non-filing of GSTR 3B. This is again, please understand it from, yeah, someone is raising hand.
Sir, we will take up the questions later, sir. Let them note down the question.
Yeah, please. So now coming back to this particular slide, see what it says. Where a taxpayer fails to file GSTR 3B for 2 subsequent months, his GSTR 1 shall now be blocked. Earlier, they have been not allowing you to take e-way bills, but now they are blocking GSTR 1 itself. But when we had no problem when e-way bill getting blocked and filing GSTR 1, if you see in the sequence, what will happen first? Raising a e-way bill happens first, right? GSTR 1 is subsequent month's activity. If you really see from your own understanding, e-way bill is for whether e-way bill is followed by GSTR 1 or GSTR 1 followed by e-way bill. E-way bill is raised for dispatch, and after that, next month 10th or 11th, we will file GSTR 1. So I don't see any challenge in this. This is in a way, from government's point of view, they are doing it to see again every assessee is on right track. He is not misusing the power given to him in the form of self-assessment. I think you all agree. We are all assessing our own liability, government believing us blindly, and whatever being uploaded by us or by our consultant, and they are validating it and they are taking it into their records, and whatever refunds due to you, I'm a privy to it. Many of the places I got the refunds also on time without any hassle. That means we should give respect to the way in which department is helping us. No doubt, when I say this industry feels little agitated, I know whenever I physically meet some officers, they say, no sir, GST is making our life tough. But I don't buy that just like that. There are valid reasons for that claim as well. But there are very good method available to mitigate such things. Coming back, GSTR 1 to be blocked in case of non-filing of GSTR 3B. I think industry should not be disturbed so much so that this is going to create any havoc. I don't believe in that. How to handle that situation when it happens is another challenge. We can still be in good books of department and can convince them on a bona fide reasons. Now, restriction on input tax credit. This is another thing which is being discussed. Today, in fact, all the 10 or 12 calls what I got was based on this. Let me read it out for your convenience. One new rule 86B shall be affected. A new rule has been inserted from 1st January 2021 again, and wherein restriction has been placed on setting off more than 99% of tax liability from input tax credit, where the value of taxable supplies other than exempt supply and zero rated supply exceeds 50 lakhs in a month. What does this mean? People are getting confused with this provision, this particular notification for this reason. I will illustrate through some numbers. Please see what does it mean. I hope this session, most of them are from SMEs, right, Ravi Kumar Garu?
Yes, sir.
Most of them are SMEs, right?
Yes, sir. Now the participants are entrepreneurs, and a few of them are working in the account section.
Okay.
You have to address behalf of the MSME segments based, sir.
Great.
Okay, in a simple way, you have to explain, sir.
Great, great. So now
Yeah.
my point here, I will explain you with an illustration. Please listen to this carefully. If your monthly income is more than 50 lakhs, your monthly income, monthly turnover should be more than 50 lakhs, excluding exempt supplies and zero rated supplies. If your monthly turnover is more than 50 lakhs, for them only this is applicable. Make it very clear. If your annual turnover is anything less than 6 crores, I don't think you need to be really worried about this notification at all for this point. Now, assuming your turnover is more than 50 lakhs, what does this provision says? What does this new rule says? If your turnover is 50, let us assume 1 crore for mathematical calculation purpose, and you have to calculate 1% of that 1 crore will be 1 lakh, right? For the 1 crore, 1 lakh. Now let us assume on 1 crore you have to pay 18% GST. That means 18 lakhs. You have to pay 18 lakhs. Out of that 18 lakhs, you will have to pay 1 lakh in cash ledger. Remaining 17 lakhs you can use from your credit ledger, input credits. Though you may have 20 lakhs, though you may have 18 lakhs, but government says you pay 1 lakh in cash and pay remaining 17 lakhs, you can use your input credits which are available to you by way of your input credit mechanism as contemplated in section 16 with respect to all the other rules to follow. Now, people are saying why we should pay 1 lakh. When I am eligible to input credit of 18 lakhs, which is already there, why this 1 lakh I have to pay in cash? This is the question being asked. Yeah, this is the anomaly is there in the this particular notification. But please understand, if you see again exclusions they are given, very interesting exclusions. You have to read through all these exclusions, then you will understand. Which is again, somebody will get confused by saying why income tax should come into picture. But this particular notification talks about that. So we have to discuss that as well. For example, your last 2 years income tax returns and shows that you have paid 1 lakh of income tax, exceeding 1 lakh income tax. You need not worry. You can just ignore this particular provision. If your income tax return ITR shows that you have paid more than 1 lakh, just you can ignore. Or if in your any of the previous GST regime, if you have received any refund exceeding rupees 1 lakh, you need not do this. Third, where taxpayer has used electronic cash ledger to pay off liability on outward supplies which cumulatively mark 1% of the total liability. So if the electronic cash ledger you have to verify, and from that electronic cash ledger, if you have used 1% of the liability, total liability, you can simply ignore this. Of course, government departments, public sector undertakings, local authority or a statutory body, I don't think we should worry about the fourth thing. First and second is very important. First, more importantly, all of you can go to your P&L or your ITR. If any of your ITR show you have paid more than 1 lakh tax, I feel this is irrelevant, this particular notification. And also, if your turnover is less than 50 lakhs per month, you can just go on doing what currently you are doing. You need not worry. Hope I have clarified. Right?
Yes, sir.
No, any doubts? I think you have the question
Sir,
and answer.
one question is there, sir. One question in the chat box.
Okay.
Suppose if we have some month 50 lakhs and some month less than 50 lakhs
Yeah.
of the turnover, then what is the scenario under the rule 86B?
The 50 lakhs and less than 50 lakhs, that is
Some
what
months,
is.
some months, yeah.
So that is what, see, exactly the question, I understood it, but the current situation, we have to go on month basis till absolute clarity is established. In any month, if 50 lakhs is there, that month you do this.
Okay.
In the next month, if you have got 25 lakhs, you can ignore is what I get the feel from the people with whomsoever I am in touch base. So end of the day, it is on month basis, progressive. So that is what is being contemplated, and 25 lakhs, whether it will be added to next month, such things we have not seen in the notification. So let us not see it from what you call that perspective. If your monthly is exceeding 50 lakhs, you can do it is what current understanding. Probably a clarification is expected very soon, I believe. So
It's clear, sir. It's clear. They have sent a message. Okay, got it, sir. Thank you. Okay, you can go ahead further points.
yeah. Now this is the very importantly, whether I think that is not there in these 10 changes. Couple of other two things what I would like to discuss with them if time permits. But before, let us complete this. Time limit for system-based GST registration increased. If you see this, again, I don't think any of the participant in this forum will definitely have any implication, but new people, whenever they are coming, it is all increased from 3 days to 7 days, and physical verification also they have increased up to 30 days. This is all they are doing it to ensure that the department is not taken for a ride by some unscrupulous people. That is happening left, right. People are getting registered in no time because it is all KYC. Once you complied, your Aadhaar card, your PAN number you submit, GST registration was generated in no time. In no time, invoices have been generated. In no time, input credits have been passed down. In no time, everything. It is done in such a haste. And tomorrow it's becoming. So they wanted some checks and balances. And they wanted, again, if someone has to do compliantly, whether it's 3 days or 7 days, they can do it in a well-planned manner. I don't say for a genuine businessman, this is a deterrent. The extension of time as proposed in this particular notification, it is from government side a deterrent to see any unscrupulous elements taking advantage of the lacunas or loose ends in the provisions. So that is the intention. I suggest or I advise all of you, don't get so much bogged down with this particular point, whatever they are now bringing out. Now, more powers to GST and department. This is what everyone started telling that it is very draconian, it is one-sided. If you see now, the officer can proceed for cancellation of GSTN where a taxpayer avails input cash than permissible section 16. See, very importantly, if you see here itself, what it says, now that officer can proceed for cancellation of GSTIN where a taxpayer avails input tax credit exceeding than that permissible in section 16. Very interestingly, I said you in the beginning, right? Section 16. So as long as you are as permissible in section 16, when you go through it, three things are very important: invoice, receiving services, and in the course of the business. So there is very important. So the officer cannot arbitrarily take cancelling your GST and registration if you have done everything rightly. You cannot be penalized for doing certain what you call clerical errors while calculating this 5% calculation. You might have taken maybe 7% or 10% more here and there, but that cannot be the reason for authority to invoke this right and say your GST now is cancelled. It cannot. It is not the way. That department cannot work in that fashion. Definitely, it is not in their interest as well. Yeah, someone has really misused it. Yeah, he will definitely do. You have got the registration today, and you have raised a input credit invoice today and passed it on, and then simply absconding. That means, yeah, such fake invoices, such fake things happening. All of us very much aware of this fact that these things have happened in last 2 years. Let us not just ignore that fact as well. It has happened. So government is little cautious to say that we will cancel. It is like a threat. If you do these things, we will cancel is what the department is saying. So I don't see any reason to be worried on this. Now where the liability declared in GSTR 3B is less than declared in GSTR 1 in a particular month. Very interesting proposition here. Everybody is concerned about this. What it says? Where the liability declared in GSTR 3B is less than declared in GSTR 1 in a particular month, department may now proceed with the cancellation of GSTIN. This is what people are debating. There are GSTR 3B and GSTR 1. All of us by now are familiar with, hopefully. GSTR 1 is declaring my turnover, my exempted turnover, my liability thereon, my debit notes, my credit notes, all that I will just declare as it is, and a statistical data of all the inward outward materials basically. What is GSTR 3B? Again, it is a replicate of GSTR 1 essentially with few adjustments which will come eventually during the reconciliation. So what it says now? Now where the liability declared in GSTR 3B is less than declared in GSTR 1. In my last 2 years of observation of various data which has come to my knowledge, GSTR 3B turnover less than GSTR 1 turnover will not happen in normal circumstances. Normal circumstances, most unlikely. Of course, there are about 12 adjustments which need to be carried out to GSTR 1 so that we will arrive at GSTR 3B liability is different issue. Let us not get into that discussion. However, my strong assumption is that GSTR 1 turnover will always be more in a normal MSME sector, because in MSME there are the credit note, debit note instances apart, and more than 180 days credit reversal. These all will come only when you are not paid within 180 days. That will be added to output liability. There are certain reasons, for example, reverse charge obligation, which will be added to output liability in GSTR 3B, as we are all aware of that, right? So in such situation, there is a possibility that 3B turnover will be always more for me. Though I tried to comprehend few situations, maybe there are 1 or 2 exceptions to such an understanding, but generally GSTR 1 turnover will be always equal to GSTR 3B is my strong feel. So if such a situation arises, and there might be some practical difficulties implementing such a provision, as just now I said. So this clause is newly inserts, talks about details of outward supply, to which we understand that taxable value, tax both should be synchronized between GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. I don't think it is possible to synchronize them. There will be some differences for sure. But if department gives you a notice saying that I will cancel your registration for this reason, we have enough of ammunition in the provisions itself to challenge it and counter it. We can logically prepare a reply for that and say that how you expect both to be same because of these reasons. There are always, I said, close to 10 reasons are there, identified reasons. One of the reasons, reconciliatory statement, and take it to department and ask them to acknowledge it. Probably that is how we should handle it rather than getting bogged down by this particular provision, what is being said there. Coming back, see now, no opportunity of being heard shall be given to a taxpayer for suspension of GSTN where the proper officer has reasons to believe that. See, very importantly, it is a very subjective empowerment. Don't see, people are getting confused. Oh, it is no opportunity of being heard. The GST officer can cancel just like that. If he is not happy to see my face, he can cancel. It doesn't work like that, right? What it says, his empowerment is subject to, what is it? Where the proper officer has reasons to believe that registration of a person is liable to be cancelled. So he has to ensure, he has to build up a file in such a way that tomorrow when he is challenged, he must be able to demonstrate that, yeah, assessee is really a willful defaulter. He has a intention to defraud government. So I am using this notification and cancelling his registration rather than simply tomorrow morning you cancel, I will cancel your registration. I will not give you any opportunity. It doesn't work like that. Let us all understand we are working in a very matured legal system. Though it is, it has got its own challenges, which we all understand, but we are much more matured tax compliant management system by all means. So the opportunity of being heard has been omitted from clause 2. That is what they say in Rule 21A. That opportunity of being heard removed has been a big discussion all across my colleagues. I simply said them, see, this when it is removed, they have put something already there. So it is not a what you call empowerment to an extent such that the officer can misuse. Don't be under that impression. Nothing of that sort can happen. If you go and see section 122, very important section there, and there are many more internal sections in GST where we have got enough of saving clauses to demonstrate to the department saying that this particular revocation or cancellation is unjustified. That means what? The opportunity of being heard has to be given, even if at some lower level, people have their own reasons to invoke this and misuse it and trouble. I think we have enough of platform to fight it out. No doubt, it is a legal litigation, but I don't think really department is going to do that to just to harass us. I mean, that is not the intent of the current tax regime, at least I feel. Now, fifth point, where there are significant deviation anomalies between details of outward supply between GSTR 3B, GSTR 1 or inward supplies between GSTR 3B, GSTR 2B, which indicate contravention of act. Please read out this, which indicate contravention of act. Very importantly, here itself it says, which indicate contravention of act. What is act? Section 16 is also part of act, right? It is not this notification. If it comes to that extent, whether act prevails or notification prevails, there are enough of case studies where act prevails over notification. Rules are supporting to provisions. So we have very valid reasons to litigate this matter, but I don't generally suggest that to in any forum, because always we need to balance between the checks and balances as proposed by government and industry constraint. We have to manage in between. How to manage it? By being in this industry, I have developed some very interesting tools to help them out so that they can manage their cash flows. They can be on the right side of the act by complying to the intent of the provisions rather than content. Please read through the intent. Don't see the content. Content sometimes would be misleading. And I always keep telling to myself and to all of you, see, I think we have another 5 minutes to break. Mr. Ravikumar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So instead, I think probably I've been talking too technical. On a lighter note, let us take a break. And then when we reassemble, I think we will have something to really discuss productively and see some value addition end of the day. See, I get reminded this particular story is being said to me in one of the forums about 5 years back. I keep reminded of the story, particularly when I speak on the sessions like this. The story is very simple. While in the break, you think over the story. The story is that there is an office in the 7th floor, and the office boy comes running to 7th floor, saying, just take it on easy note. Don't stress too much to understand what I'm saying, but see the intent what I'm trying to get it to you all. Sharma ji, आपका बेटी भाग गई. What did he say? Sharma ji, आपकी बेटी भाग गई. And this person who is doing the job overheard it. He got panicky. He said to himself, "Arey, mera beti bhag gayi. What to do now?" He is now faceless. He is a very what you call conservative guy. Impromptu, he took a decision to jump from 7th floor to commit obviously suicide, right? As he reaches 5th floor, he says to himself, "Beti bhag gayi, where do I have daughter?" He comes when he poses this question when he reaches downward 5th floor. Where do I have daughter? Now, as he reaches 3rd floor, he asks the next question, very important question. When did I marry? See, what did he do? He immediately reacted, right? Instead reacting, had he responded, what I mean by responding? Arey, kab bhag gayi? If he had asked the question to this office boy, he would have said, what he said? He actually said, Verma ji, aapka beti bhag gayi. There was another guy in that office, Verma. This Sharma heard Verma as Sharma, right? You got my point?
Yes, sir.
The point what I'm trying to tell you that he reacted instead of responding. By reacting, he has actually seen the inevitable tragedy. So this is in all these provisions, whatever we are going through now, we overdo it. In Telugu, it is puli vachindi. End of the day, it will be pilli. I mean, tiger has come, but it turns out to be cat. So many of these provisions, if I've been following all these provisions last 15 years, believe me, my audience, I used to get scared while these provisions. I always used to feel that, oh, this year at least 100 chartered accountants or 100 professionals and 100 industrials will be behind the jail. That kind of feel I will get every provision when I read. But I have not seen any such things happening in last 15 years till date. That is the reality. Meaning, so these provisions are coming to give a kind of responsibility over all of us. Let us not see it in from very negative perspective. How do you see it makes a big difference. Let us all understand that. Don't overread or don't overdo it like how Verma guy did it. Read it thoroughly. Take a time. Is it draconian by itself by all means? My answer is not so. It is not draconian. Please, let us respect the lawmakers for that purpose. They are doing it with a purpose. We are all contemporaries because we are now suffering the burden of all these decisions taken at bureaucracy. We criticize the act left, right. But what I feel, we have a right to criticize it, no doubt. We have, on a prudent note, we have to definitely challenge everything is thrown on our table. But doesn't mean we will challenge it for the sake of challenging. Let us see why the lawmaker is coming with so much of measures. There should be something behind it, right? What is it?
Yes, sir.
So on that note, I will take a small break. Let us gather maybe 5 minutes later.
5 minutes, sir. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I request all the participants to come back within 5 minutes, or you can stay as it is. Sir will be coming back just for relaxation purpose we made, because we all technical people, many of the guys who are attending here, and subject itself GST means everybody will be in a different mood. For that purpose, we made 5 minutes break here. please relax and come back. Now 4 points we have completed. Okay, from fifth point onwards you can continue, sir. Okay, and we had one question, sir. Afterwards we can take it. Okay, the end of the session we will have
Please,
question and
I'm
answer.
open.
Yeah.
Open
Yeah.
forum. Anybody can
Yes, sir.
raise. I will try
Yeah.
to clarify
Now,
them.
now my time is 5 o'clock. 5 we will start.
Great. Thank you, audience. Bye.
ನೆಟ್ ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವ ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಟ್ ಆನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವ ಇದೇನು ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ ಮೇರೇದಿದೆಯಾ ನೋಡಿ ಹಂಗೆ ಲಾವಣ್ಯ ಮೇರೇದು ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರ ಮೊಬೈಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಾ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಹಲೋ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆನಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆಯಲ್ವಾ ಸಾರ್ ಆನಲ್ಲೇ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ ಓಕೆ Stuck ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. Sir, you can start, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, welcome back all. Hope you had a nice break after a lot of technical stuff being fed into your from GST point of view. Hope I made it as interesting as possible within my means, and I wanted to be as to the point so that not to drag too much into legalities.
Sir,
Having
before
said,
starting, sir, just a minute, sir. Before starting, I want two participants to share your views how the session is there. Then rest of the things we can go ahead. The
sorry, I
speed
did
is
not get you.
okay. No, just I am requesting the participants to share their views, sir. Whether the program is understandable
Yeah.
or whether we need to
I will,
go
I will,
for
I will.
slow or the speed is okay. Just I am requesting the participants.
Yeah.
Mr. Biju? Mr. Biju, you can unmute and you can speak. ಉಮೇಶ್ ಅವರೇ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಸೆಷನ್? ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಗುಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್
ಓಕೆ
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಾವು MSME ಸೆಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಭಯ ಆಗೋ ರೀತಿಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಫ್ರಾಂಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫೈ ಆಯ್ತು ಇವಾಗ.
ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಸಾರ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಾರ್ 2 ಡೇಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್.
ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್.
Members should get benefited. Okay.
Yeah, very nice. Good.
Yeah. Sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please.
I will try to make it as slow as possible because as you know,
speed is okay, sir. Speed is okay. You can go ahead with the same speed.
Fine. Thank you. So just let us complete this discussion and then let us go to a couple of case studies and then we will get into question and answer session. Now, interestingly, today morning, as I broke the session with something attitudes, now I just want to tell, what is this all about? Someone is asking. Morning, we about 5-6 chartered accountants came together, we were discussing. I just get reminded of a situation, generally a very interesting situation. You know, one guy getting into a bus, gets into a bus, he boards a bus and he wants to travel. Someone asks him, oh, you are getting into bus, are you securing your travel? Are you securing your travel is the question to that passenger. He says, yes. How? I have a ticket, he shows. I have a ticket. Then the other guy, out of curiosity, asks, what if this ticket is lost? He says, you don't know, I have a route pass. He shows the route pass next. What if you lose this also? Then he says, I have a general pass. Meaning what I am trying to say is that guy is securing by purchasing a ticket, by having a route pass and then general pass. Maybe it looks like very, foolishness on his behalf. Why I'm trying to tell this, to relate this, government, it looks like it has got enough of provisions as a deterrence in the act itself to catch the fraudsters. The sections are so well connected to each other. And after that, they wanted that if you don't pay within 180 days, I will disallow the credit. If you don't take the credit before September, I will disallow the credit. Like that is another provision. There is another deterrent. But despite that, why they are coming for this deterrent? This deterrent is to see that if those two can be failed, but this will not fail. Meaning, if a fraudster want to do something strongly against government, this will catch them quickly is the intent of the act, is what my strong feel to all of you. So we are all abiding persons, law abiding. Generally out of 100, 95% will be law abiding. They will somehow manage, they will beg, borrow, but they will pay GST on time to not to see that their image is really badly affected. So we need not worry is my humble submission to you all. You read through the sentences, you read through the notification, you read the, as I always keep telling, and just now also in this session I said you all, read the intent, don't see the content, is my strong statement to all you. The intent is fairly simple. Content looks like very confusing. So that's the reason you should approach your chartered accountants or legal fraternity, whoever would have gone through it. They will definitely guide you. You need not get panicky. The reason is there is nothing that will disturb the industry is my strong feel. I will show you with the illustration in the later part. Now, what if the GST registration is cancelled? Where the GST registration of a taxable person has been suspended. Now the important deterrent, this is what, so you should never allow that to be suspended because it may derail your entire logistics management. Let me be very frank. Because then neither taxpayer nor recipient nor the transporter, none of them can raise e-way bill. This is a very important point you all have to understand. So please ensure that it is not suspended for any reason. Because earlier there were some people who were doing, but now none of these three people will be able to help you out. So please ensure that it is not suspended. How to not to get suspended is to be doing the right things, as I've been reiterating in this whole session. Now, see, this is a one very positive thing. What now I am going to read, I will read it out to the convenience of you all, then illustrate this. This is a very important point. Most of you people may take good benefit out of this. I will read through it. Time limit for taking ITC for debit notes have been provided up to September return of next financial year if the debit note pertains to the current financial year. Earlier, the date of original invoice corresponding to such debit note was the relevant document based on which time limitation for availing ITC had to be calculated. I'm reading it out once again for the convenience of all of you. Time limit for taking ITC for debit notes have been provided up to September. What does this mean? Now, they are recognizing the debit note date as the date. Please understand this point. The date of the debit note as the date, not the date of invoice. For example, I'm just illustrating it. There was an invoice raised in the month of March 19. I'm just giving it. 28th March, there was an invoice. Okay. That March invoice input credit, you should have taken maximum by September 2019. That means October 2019 return when you file, you can take the credit, right? That was our understanding. For that, for some reason, a debit note has been raised by supplier. That was dated March itself, let us assume, no issues, the same provision continues. If he raises a debit note in the month of April 1st, for another debit note he raises. Now, can you take the credit even after September 2019? As it looks from this reading, answer is yes. Because invoice date becomes irrelevant the moment you raise a debit note. Earlier, it was not like that. though the debit note might be dated April 1st, but invoice date is the relevant date for taking credit even on this debit note. Now they have dispensed it off and says that the debit note which you have raised now will be the relevant date for you to take the credit either before September or after. Hope I have clarified you. Because this is a very important change, because most of the people were worrying. For example, what happens, I will tell you. In fact, in one of my clients' case, it happened. They have received a supply where they have raised a bill. Somewhere in 17-18 bill it was. And subsequently, after some escalation, price escalation came into picture. Price was under negotiation. Finally, my client has accepted to increase the price. Now from X price to it increased it to some X plus. So he has raised a debit note. Debit note was raised in July 2019 somewhere. Now, when we have taken the credit, department has objected that. It said this debit note pertains to a bill relating to 2017-18. That being the case, this credit should have been taken before September. Unfortunately, our client has taken it around February 2020. They have denied the credit. They said you can't take this credit because this bill actually belongs to 18-19 and your maximum time allowed is September. That means October return you should have taken. But with this new change, whole lookout is changed. Please understand. Now, had this been there in the original understanding, then my client would not have lost that credit. Now, my client can take this credit. Why? If you see the empowerment given to central government to insert rules and regulations, it goes retrospective. It goes retrospective means provision when it was there till from then. So now we have a valid case to fight in department saying that, see, now I am eligible to take the credit. You don't block this credit. That kind of a positive understanding I have got from this particular statement. So any one of you have any challenges like that, please use this particular understanding conveniently to help you out all to manage your cash flows. Because some of the debit notes which otherwise you are under the impression that we have lost the credit, we can make a sincere attempt to get that credit back, convincing the department, taking them into confidence. This is the one positive thing what I am seeing as well. For the convenience of all of you, I am sharing. Then composition taxable person for services have been barred from making supplies not leviable to tax, making interstate supply of services and supplies through e-commerce operator. This is again another this thing. Composition taxable person cannot do all this. He cannot supply not leviable to tax. He cannot do that. He cannot go for interstate supply of services. He cannot supply through e-commerce operator who is required to collect TCS, because composition tax by now we all know they are not they will not raise GST invoice. Composition tax guy, hope you all know it, right? Composition tax guy is only can raise this one, not a GST invoice. He cannot charge GST in it. He has to discharge his 1% whatever that liability on his own. So those people are barred from doing all this now. That is the one deterrent for composition guys. Then the provision of late fees for late issuance of TDS certificates have been dropped. I don't think any MSME people are comes under this. TDS certificate is generally meant for PSUs, so you need not worry. Effective from 1st January 2021. See, this is another important feature. Effective from 1st January 2021, a person opting for voluntary registration can also opt for cancellation of registration if he no longer requires the registration. What exactly does mean? By now we all know there is a voluntary registration as well is in the act. Even though I don't cross the ceiling limit, I still can, to be on the good books of the department, I can get registered. And as soon as I get registered, I will have to necessarily discharge my compliance obligations under GST. That is what our understanding. After a couple of months, if I feel I don't want this registration anymore, can I go to department? I want to deregister. Now answer is yes. But earlier it was not there. Once you register, you can't go for deregistration immediately. Now that provision is given. That is another, I think, good measure by government to help small and MSME. If at their option they can enter and they can exit. Of course, it's not that easy to come and get out. You will have your own challenges, but there is a kind of provision is being now contemplated. So this is another point. Then this is the period of revocation. See, this is where I'm saying you people need not get worried. See, this is what we tend to miss this point and get panicky. What if not opportunity of being heard? If he cancels, what will happen to my fate? This kind of unnecessary concern is unwarranted. It is not required at all. Why? The period of revocation of cancellation of registration can be extended by further 30 days if allowed by the additional commissioner or joint commissioner. That means there is another layer where we can approach. So now if you want to cancel revocation, if you go and see on the revocation and cancellation, the responsibility on the officer is, if you see from his perspective, he is accountable for such cancellation and registration. If there are some liabilities, who will settle it? If you as the MSME has a liability of, let us assume 5 lakhs, who will settle that if he unilaterally revokes it, your registration? You can't go and then pay it later under some other registration number, right? You have to pay from that registration number only. So it is easier than done. He can do all those things, but end of the day, as long as things are under our control, we can manage all these challenges well within the means of GST itself, as the provisions are very cooperative to industry. And if you read through each line, interpret it in your way, instead of in your own way, interpret it by using common sense. Believe me, this is one such act what I feel if it can take the industry to a different league by self-discipline mechanism. What I mean by self-discipline, everything, say, if you read through all these 11 things what came out through this notification, basically a self-regulatory mechanism proposed to you all. It is self-regulatory. They are not saying that we will come and do for you. Please follow this 1, 2, 3, 4. You ensure that you are doing right things. Because you see, the act has changed from, I remember, and you all know about a decade back, how the Inspector Raj was dictating terms. Even a dispatch to happen, excise officer has to come, seal, lock. Then I personally know what all we used to do. We used to go carry the car, bring him. You all know, I need not explain
Yes,
all that.
sir.
From
It's
that
true, sir.
today, from that position today, see, one of the consignment is moving today to Israel from one of my clients' place. It is seamless. I don't know which officer is doing it, where from it is going to Chennai port today. Tomorrow, everything is seamless now. That means we are moving in the right direction is what I always feel, and I always tell industry as a responsible professional in this line by being, let us respect the law as it is without biased views on it. Challenges, how to mitigate. We have overcome COVID-like challenge. I don't think this is a big challenge for industry. A COVID challenge was by all means not a small challenge. It is complete, I mean, put hold on each and everything. At least here we have the opportunity of being heard. Though not there, no one has given us opportunity of being heard, right? Lockdowns
Yes, sir.
imposed on us just like that. We have burnt that. I mean, we have taken it on positive spirit and cooperated and overcome that. When that can overcome, I don't think this is a big challenge. And I have seen interacting with the officers. They have a accountable administration inside. They cannot do. 1 or 2 exceptions you will find in every part of the society. We can't wish away from that fact. But generally, I don't see we have any such challenges. Coming back to couple of case studies I want to, before that, I think let me go through, these are there in the public domain. You all can see it. Just I will explain a couple of myths and what exactly government means. See, you can see this, very interesting. This is available in public domain. This is, I'm just reading it out for the convenience of all of you. And for everything what they came out this time, they have given a beautiful explanation. See, this is what about, this is, please, I mean, I urge every one of you or your accounts team, your finance team, please go through this very intently. Then you will get to know why I am so positive about all these statements what I am making. See, misconception versus reality. This is there, Ministry of Finance has given it. So when you read through this, you will get to know what I am trying to say. See, facts about 1% payment of tax liability in cash. This is what just now I shared with you. What is the misconception? Large number of taxpayer would be affected by the rule. What is the reality? The rule provides for various exemptions like exporters. They need not do this. Suppliers of goods of inverted duty structure. They need not follow this. Taxpayers having a footprint in the income tax database, etc. They need not do it. And it is expected that as per the data analysis what they have done, applicable to less than 0.5% of total taxpayer base of today. Out of 1.2 crore taxpayer base, 0.5% will be affected by this. Why are we worried? It is that one. See, if you can fit into one of the exemptions provided, for sure, believe me. And more importantly, if this is the forum where all the MSMEs are there and whose turnover is definitely not exceeding, I'm expecting not exceeding 5-6 crores, they need not worry, is the point what I'm trying to tell. So this misconception, if you remove it out, then the rule clearly identifies where the risk to revenue is high. They are worried about that and imposes a deterrence to the fraudsters in a multi-layered fraud of passing fake ITC. You got the intent here. I said very clearly, please see behind the intent. The intent is to catch the fraudsters who have a multi-layered networking and passing fake invoices. Then as long as we are not in that bracket, why we should be worried? దొంగతనం అయిందంటే భుజం తడుపుకుంటారంట అట్లా. Why we should be worried? We are fair, right? We are
Yes,
doing
sir.
our things rightly. We are tax obedient, tax compliant. Why are we getting concerned? So this is what government is trying to say. So this rule will help to control such fraudsters who issue fake invoices and show high turnovers, but have no financial credibility and flee after misusing ITC without payment of any tax liability in cash. So government is trying to address this challenge, which from their side is a big threat because their revenue will be affected. So they are saying, please understand this and cooperate with us. That is what they are saying through this notification. Second thing, see, very interestingly, I never saw all this in my 25 years. These are all coming in the public domain by the government. They are explaining. Earlier, when they make a provision, they used to say it is my way or highway. Now they are saying it is not my way. You please come in my way and understand why I am saying my way. They are not saying highway. That way they are respecting the taxpayer also. They are not saying you do whatever I say. No, they respect us and they follow and they will clarify. See, facts about 1% payment of tax liability in cash in GST, misconception. This rule adversely affects small and medium enterprises. This is the general misconception. The new provision which restricts the use of ITC for discharging output liability is applicable to the registered person whose value of taxable supply other than exempt supply and export in a month exceeds rupees 50 lakhs. That means those whose total annual turnover is more than 6 crores. Therefore, the rule does not apply to micro and small business and composition dealers. So I think as the data bank suggests, it is 99.99% around will not be affected, MSMEs. Even assuming they cross 6 crores. Nowadays, even MSMEs are doing 25 crores turnover is there because of the new classifications. But even if you do 25 crores, if you have paid income tax of more than 1 lakh in any of the previous years, you need not worry about this, right? So again, what I'm trying to say, please come out of this misconception and see the notification as it is. See another thing, misconception, because why I'm emphasizing this again and again, to create a kind of better understanding. See, misconception, what is that? The requirement of cash payment of 1% liability will create huge burden. This is the world's huge burden. This is what floated all across the market. Huge burden on small businesses, and it will increase their working capital requirement. The data analytics says very clearly, I will demonstrate through my illustration also. The cash payment of 1% is to be calculated on the tax liability in a month and not a turnover of the month. Please see. It is a liability not on the turnover. They are going to the turnover. It is on the liability, 1%. It amounts to only 0.01% of turnover. My friends, please see, 0.01% of turnover will be the liability. I don't see it is a huge liability in today's context. For example, if a dealer has made a sale of 1 crore of the goods, whose tax rate is 12%, and if he is discharging his tax liability more than 99% through ITC, then he has to pay only rupees 12,000 under this rule. See, this is what, now people may say 12,000 for you may be small amount, but for us it is a big amount. I understand that running the industry by myself. But let us not magnify it to such an extent to say that it is a huge burden. It is a manageable burden. 12,000 out of the 1 crore turnover in today's context is not, I don't agree, I don't subscribe to that, right? So on the other hand, a composition dealer would have paid rupees 1 lakh in cash with this volume of sale, right? A composition dealer is paying 1 lakh on this for this volume of sales. So where is the question of it is much better than a composition dealer's position? So why this misconception? Please come out of this is what my humble submission to you all. The next misconception you see. I mean, why I'm sharing this, these are all available in public domain. I have not prepared it. Let me be very frank with you. As a responsible chartered, I thought industry should be updated on this so that they will know the reality. Misconception 4, all the registered person will be required to pay 1% cash liability. No, sorry, it is not all. See, all these exceptions, one who has paid 1 lakh rupees as income tax in the previous years, one has got 1 lakh refund, has paid through cash ledger 1%, which he can demonstrate. He can simply ignore this notification. You can simply ignore this notification and carry on your business without any interruptions from department. The last point of this clarifications what came from the department I am discussing with you. See, the rule adversely affects genuine taxpayers. Absolutely wrong. The rule is only applicable to taxpayers. Again, I don't want to reiterate, 50 lakhs. Registered persons falling any of the exempted category, they need not worry about it. And also, if any of those exemptions are eligible to exclusions, if they are eligible, they need not pay. Meaning, there is no such additional huge burden as being conceived in the market amongst the MSMEs. Don't be worried about all those things, what is being there now rumored in the market. Just ignore all those, do your business, and you will enjoy the kind of provisions what are there in the this notification, and you will get, I think, peace of mind once you do it in right way. I will just demonstrate through illustration. Maybe I've been talking about provisions so intently, maybe some of you might not have understood what I said. I will just show through 2 case studies, and let us see how best I can reach out to you all with these 2 case studies. Case study 1, I am just doing an input credit analysis. Just I'm giving a case study. Let us assume, as per our records, I'm talking this input credit analysis means this is in fact in one of the places we have done, and in one of the vendors' place, and then we came out. Then that MD of that company said, "Yakappa ishtake nange ishtu tale tintira, bitbidi, madibidi." I mean, the whole thing was projected to them in such a way that as if something is falling from hell. Rather than then he said, I mean, that kind of feel he got from his data. I think all of you, if you really start understanding this, then you will get to know what I am trying to tell you all. See, in that case, in his records, as per their records, when they shared me the data, so I'm just sharing that with you. I mean, just trying to analyze this. As per their records, they had 5 lakh input credit. Okay. This is their input credit available as per their purchase. Accountant has come. Sir, these are all the receipt of supplies and goods. These are all the entries passed in my tally. He has shown. Then I said them to reconcile with the GSTN portal. With the GSTN portal, I said their accountant, please go to GSTN portal and verify. And they have verified and said to me, sir, 4,50,000 are traceable. 4,50,000 equivalent input credits are traceable. That is what they said. Now, unreconciled was 50,000. Unreconciled was 50,000. So available credit on prorata was, what is it? 4,72,500. He can take still 4,72,500. As per this thing, it is not that he is losing entire 50,000. The information given to him that we can't take anything, sir. No. What is that he is immediately cannot take was 27,500. He cannot take 27,500. He cannot take. Now this 27,500 when he can take? He can take in the month in which the credit. This is the challenge. This is the accountant's challenge. This is not owner's challenge. Let me be very frank. If you really see in the carry forward when it happens, the managing director, if managing director need not be get disturbed for this. It is a big accounting challenge. I agree. Because having tracking is 27,500. The accountant should always be tracking when this input credit is again reflected in GST and 2A, and then reconciling, then again taking the credit and taking that 95% of the credit. Is a challenge. I'm not trying to say that it is not a challenge, but by having a smart technology tool in your office, this can be done with the minimum of loss of time, which we are doing. We have demonstrated in few units, and they are all doing, they are tracking it. They are doing absolutely well. Now you see, some of them have said, sir, what happens? Can I take this unreconciled 50,000? I'm giving two options here, which can be, I'm saying operational mitigation, I'm saying. One is legal mitigation. What is operational mitigation? One way I have seen by being in the industry, I know we always purchase with 2 months credit. Generally, though credit is shrinking in the market nowadays, but generally 30 days, 45 days to 60 days credit is generally. Assuming general credit is available, we are paying this 50,000 unreconciled vendors only after second month. So that being the case, why you are don't take the credit at all. Keep this 50,000 away from your credits. Only when you make the payment to vendor, you make the payment to vendor only when he uploads his invoice. This is we successfully implemented in few units. Though the vendors have said, no, you don't insist us to. Then we said, okay, it is up to you whether you want to upload it or not. But we will pay GST only when we say 2A in our, 2A your amount. That is one beautiful deterrent we can implement operationally, which we have done. And with that, what is happening to get their 100% payment for this 18% delayed payment, they are uploading it quickly. I have seen it happening all across my 12, 13 clients. Now they are very happy. The client is, their vendor base is uploading because their payment is otherwise held up. Sometimes, depending on win-win situation for whoever is in the dominating position, they are taking it conveniently to their advantage. So what I am trying to tell again you all, first one is you can option one, whatever unreconciled, don't take it. And don't pay to vendor also. Don't pay to your vendor also that GST portion. I will pay you only when I see this uploaded in my GST, my accounts team. You put one check and balance in the system. Your person, whoever is authorized as payment, he must ensure that go to GST and 2A portal. Only when he says that amount, process it for payment for GST. That way it is not going to burden your cash flows because you have not paid it. The whole problem is I pay to my vendor, then I am deprived of this benefit. This is unfair. I understand that. But now you can use this conveniently. Second one is very interesting proposition, which I am doing in few places. Though it is a litigative, I mean, a department can litigate it. I know it, but I am saying again, take the entire credit, whether it is reconciled or unreconciled. Risky proposition. With the disclaimer, I am telling to all the, whoever are the decision makers here, don't go by this. What I am saying in this forum, everything is risk prone. What now I am saying, taking the credit is legally litigatable. We can definitely challenge this. If I take the credit and at the lower level, definitely it will be rejected. But as it reaches the next layer at appeal level or at appellate level or at court level, definitely we can, the assessee will win the case is the strong feel among the legal fraternity, because it is completely against the what you call essence of section 16. I have got the valid invoice, as in the beginning I said, I have got the input services or supply of goods, and it is received in the course of furtherance of business. If I can demonstrate all these three, and I have paid the amount to the vendor, the natural justice, fair and equity will definitely override all these confusions, whatever we have, is the strong feel amongst the legal fraternity. Let me be very frank with you all. So can we take the credit? Very importantly, as we reach the month of September, we are bound to take it. For example, what if my vendor has not filed that invoice even up to September? Now I will lose that credit unless I file it in the month of September, right? So I have to file it. I have to avail it. I can't, because he has not filed, if I don't file it, what if he files in the month of November? Can I take that credit? Answer, no. So as inbuilt in the provision itself, we can take the credit. It is my strong feel. Of course, it's my personal view. People may differ with this. Wherever I have a chance to go for it, I am going in few places depending on the cash flow requirement of them, and accordingly I am suggesting. But it is a risky proposition. Let me caution you all. We can take the credit. First option, what I said, don't take it at all. Tell to vendor, you upload, you claim that money. That is the first option. Second option, take the credit, but be ready for a litigation at the lower level. At the higher level, definitely fair chance of getting through it. Now, as I said you, whether legal mitigation we will win, my answer, yeah, we have a fair chance to get through it. But this is the last resort I am suggesting you all. So you got my point, right? Now in this case, through this illustration, what I am saying, if your input records shows 50,000 and as per 5 lakhs, out of that, what is now you are not eligible is only 27,500. Hope I have clarified, sir. It is not, you don't see beyond this. If it is 10 lakhs, let us assume it is 10 lakhs. And just creating, if your input credit is 10 lakhs, you are as per that one, just putting, and if you are on reconciliation, it is 8,50,000 your accountant can trace. And what out of the 10 lakhs, what is actually blocked is 1 lakh. Out of the 10 lakhs, you have to block 1,07,500. By default, you can see today I saw just in the first session I said you, the credit what showing there in our 2A is much more than what actually we have invoices in our control. So again, see the predicament in the department also. They are also trying, trial and error is going on. So we have to see it from some positive perspective so that we need not get disturbed. So it is 1 lakh only is blocked. Go to any extent. Depend. Suppose what would have been the entire ideal situation? You would have taken all that, and this is not possible. The point is, through this illustration, what I am trying to explain again and again at accountants at different levels, please take this message to management. The decision makers, let them be appraised of this. Take your data. See, that is where the data analytics plays a very important role in our GST management in future. If you don't know how to analyze the data, how to give management a mitigation plan, that will be very tough then to management to take decisions. Now see the another situation. Case study 2, what I want to explain. I think we have some time. Question and answer, you are giving 10 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now we are reaching 5:50. The case study 2, then I will just explain you what exactly this. This 99% restriction. See, if it is only for turnover more than 50 lakhs, let us assume your turnover is 50 lakhs and 1 rupees, just for that purpose I put. Assuming you are in the 18% bracket, your liability is 9 lakhs. And let us assume you have this, just related that in that case, I put that on. So let us assume this is the situation. You have got input credits of 10 lakhs. GST portal is showing 850. Remaining is unreconciled. So this is what you will get. Now, in this case, you have got input credit availability of 8,92,500, right? But still you will end up paying 50,000 as 1% cash deposit, not 50,000, sorry, liability of that one. Again, there will be some challenges later. What you will be depositing is 9,000 as cash deposit. If we have input credit, it may even come down. See, there are some anomalies are still there. But what is the liability here? Only 1%, right? 1%. That means 9,000 of the liability you have to discharge through cash. What is it actually? Now people are saying in this whole situation, if you see, total working capital challenge would be 1,16,500. And I have seen it in a continuous month on month. If you see, this 1,07,500, which otherwise you are not available, as and when he files, you will get it, right? So it will, for this particular case, all through the year, let me be very frank with you. If this is the business case, all through the year, you may require 1 lakh as the buffer cash. Assuming this trend continues with his business model, all through the year, if you have 1 lakh to 1,10,000, you can very comfortably manage your cash flows operationally, and also by being compliant to the intent of the provisions what came out through this notification. Yeah, I know this is a very clean and mathematical model I am putting in front of you all, not talking about many other adverse impacts on it, but I am just simplifying the intent of the act to you all through this mathematical model. Neither it is a complicated one, nor it is going to burden your cash flows that adversely if this situation prevails. Now, if someone is unreconciled, for example, 10 lakhs, entire 10 lakhs unreconciled, that means something wrong in your supply chain management. Don't blame the act. Your purchase guy is not negotiated properly. Your accounts guy is not releasing the payment rightly. So for that, you don't blame act. If, for example, if 10 lakhs is your input credits, and only 1 lakh is there in GST portal, then yes, you are losing 8,95,000, right? Carry forward. This is, of course, as a reason to be worrying. That is not the legal, it is not the challenge from law. It is challenge our internal SCM management and accounts management and finance management. So don't blame this situation and try to correlate with the law and say that law is draconian. I don't agree with that. There are various other deterrents we can put and manage our cash flows and manage our vendors and be compliant to the max. So on this note, I think I feel that I have tried to put my point forward to you all. I know.
Is it clear, sir? It was clear, sir.
Hope I have clarified to the max, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Now I think I give the forum for open discussion because having said all that, the people will have their own concerns. You can raise questions on this subject alone. I will try my best to clarify if I
Yes.
have the answer immediately. Otherwise, I will
Yeah.
send my clarifications through a note eventually.
Yeah. I request Ms. Supriya, if any questions is there, you can ask. You can unmute and you can speak.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, please. Yes, please.
Sir.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please ask.
Sir, ನಾವು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಂದು GST 3B ನೋಟಿಸ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೆನಾಲ್ಟಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕನ್ಸೆಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಥವಾ ಕಟ್ಟಲೇಬೇಕಾ ಸರ್?
See, 3B notice interest under what context has come, adu facts and case study ನೋಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. We cannot generalize it and say concession ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ concession ಸಿಗೋಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ. What was the issue? Facts of the case ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. We cannot really answer it, please.
Okay.
Facts of the case ನೀವು ಈ ಫಾರಂ ನಿಂದ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, any other persons are having any question? Please unmute your audio and you can ask your.
Please don't hesitate to any question, however it could be from your perspective. Then it will.
Yeah, tell me, Mr. Biju. Biju.
Yes. Hello. Good evening to all.
Yeah, good.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Audible.
Sir, this when it comes to reverse charge mechanism, especially with the transporters, they don't upload their one in the GST 2A, and because of which we will not be able to, though we are paying credit, we are going to give that RCM input, and then we are not able to take the credit because it is more than 10%.
See, I will.
So then you have this,
Yeah. Please carry on.
So then you will have this red, indication saying that we are exceeding that currently that 110%. So most of these transporters, they don't upload this, their invoices.
See, I will clarify you one important point, sir. This 110%, which is now reduced to 105%, and in the GST portal, it is reflecting something apart. What I am advising all my known coordinates, see, GST obligation under reverse charge is by itself is a different obligation. That as long as you are discharging under RCM, and it is getting into your cash ledger, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
It is not getting into your credit ledger. And it is a cash ledger item. I don't see any reason why you cannot take the credit. You can comfortably take the credit and discharge your liabilities against that.
Okay. No, since that red warning is coming, then we spoke to the helpline. And they said we may be receiving, if you take credit, we may be receiving the notice from them.
Yeah. Let them send the. See, now, for example, here also you are seeing some red, right?
Yeah.
In this, what you are
saying
is, so don't get worried about that red by itself. Now, red has become not a danger signal. Red has become a focus line now. So take that way. And see, he sends notice, right? Let him send notice. Why you are worried?
Yeah.
Have you done anything wrong?
We are paying the GST, and it is not allowing us to take the credit, then there's no point in the reverse charge mechanism.
That's what I'm saying. As long as you are doing right thing, if there is a GST invoice from the transporter, which says very clearly on printed model, it says it is to be discharged under reverse charge mechanism, and you are discharging, and you are uploading it, and you are paying it, and cash ledger, you are paying your hard cash. Your hard cash, when you are paying, you cannot be deprived of taking that credit when Act has contemplated that, right? Act has said you can take.
Yeah. What if the invoice doesn't say that whatever you mentioned about the RCM thing? Still, can we are obligated to do the RCM, right?
No, I always say you better insist the transporter to mention, because the formatting under GST invoice rules itself is very clear that RCM obligation to be discharged by whom is to be specified on the LR copy. That's very clear.
Okay.
So I strongly recommend, please advise the transporter accordingly, because the department sometimes tomorrow, as I said you under section 16, which I always tell is the best saving grace for all of us. Please follow intent of section 16 with rules read together. Then you will have very less challenge. So if they don't understand that, call them and explain them why you are insisting that. It is only one small box to be printed on the LR copy, right? Nothing else.
Correct.
Or even if they don't want to print that, printing cost zyada ho jayega, then ask them to stamp someone stamp. Maybe I can't buy a stamp and give to him. Ask them to put it.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next,
And one more question is that now when it comes.
Yeah, please.
You can go ahead.
One more question.
Mr. Viju.
Yeah, one more thing is, now you have people, who are filing on quarterly basis.
Right.
Yeah, so that is a big challenge, because when we have a lot of people, the vendors who are filing on quarterly basis, so we'll have to wait at least 3 months to get that credit.
Yes. No, this is a real challenge which is being represented to department, and I'm sure there will be something will be coming as addendum to this notification.
Okay, sir.
Because otherwise it defeats the very purpose of the act. The act's purpose cannot be defeated. When you are given that quarterly filing, either you have to dispense of that quarterly filing, or you have to really give some way forward plan to ensure that quarterly filing is being also accommodated in this notification, which they have not done. Neither they have done none of the acts they have done. So obviously, as the receiving end, we are at an advantageous position. We can definitely defend this, saying that how can you make this now, at operation level between me and you, what we are doing, we are to make it simple and seamless. We are calling the vendors. Why don't you go for monthly filing, man? So when we are doing the vendor registration, are you filing monthly or quarterly? We are asking that question. Many clients. If they say quarterly, we are telling no, you will not be selected. We will go to the other vendor. So at operational, we can have some deterrents, but it is something which is against law, right? If someone wants to do quarterly filing, we can't make them to. So there are certain practical compulsions.
In fact, it is very difficult to insist on small companies, very small companies where they have to do a monthly. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Baliga, sir, any questions from your side? Mr. Baliga, sir.
So sometimes when no questions comes from audience, I have two views on it. Either I have fully convinced them or I have fully confused them.
Confused.
So I take on a positive note, I have convinced them.
Yeah. Mr. Gopal, sir.
Hello, sir. Namaste.
Yeah, you can go ahead, sir. Yeah. Ready, sir. Ready.
ನಮ್ದು ಇವಾಗ GST ಇದು ನಮ್ದು ಏನು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ RCM ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5% ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ನಮ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. 50% ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, 50% ಡೊಮೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ 5% ನಾವು ಏನು RCM ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ತೀವಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ತಗೊಂಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಇದು ರೈಟ್ ಆರ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಸರ್? ಆನ್ ದಿ ಗುಡ್
5% ನೀವು RCM ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಎರಡು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅದೇ ತಾನೆ?
ಎರಡು ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ದು, ಲೋಕಲ್ 50% ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, 50% ಲೋಕಲ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು GST ನಲ್ಲಿ 5% ನಾವು ಏನ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ RCM ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಬರೋದನ್ನ ಅದು ನಾವು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತಾ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ ಕಂಪನಿನ ಅಂತ?
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ, ಮೈ ಫೇರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್, ಐ ವೆಂಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ GST. RCM ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ಗೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಗೂ ಲೋಕಲ್ಗೂ ಏನು ಲಿಂಕೇಜ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ.
The reason is export by default, if you have read through the sections, it is a zero rated supply.
Correct, sir. Okay.
It is not exempted supply. It is a zero rated supply.
Okay, sir.
So exempt supply there is a restriction, no doubt. But for zero rated supply is a technical term. And if you read that input credit management process through the act on new mind that input credits, whatever we are taking, again, I will go back to my original understanding of section 16. As long as it is in the course of the business, I cannot be deprived of that right of input credit. Point number one. And as long as zero rated supply being a technical term, and on that I can claim refund, I can supply it under LUT. They have given two options, right?
Yes, sir. LUT
payment LUT refund ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. Refund ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ what I will use? The credits available in my records, right?
Correct.
And RCM ದ್ವಾರ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವ credit ಬಂದಿದೆ, that is my eligible input credit.
Okay.
It is not someone is giving me as a charity. It is my own eligible, rightfully legal eligible input credit.
Okay.
So if you apply your common sense theory to the whole provisions, again, as I said, you intend, I don't see a reason to be worrying not to take it. I don't know whoever said don't take it, under what pretext they said, what is the legal background they are saying it. I don't know. As the facts of the case made to me, I don't see any challenge as such.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.
Prashant Shetty, sir. Prashant Shetty, sir. Yeah. Sir, that's completed, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, one question ಇದೆ.
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಹೇಳಿ.
ನಾವು ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ TGS ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಸರ್, 0.075%. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು GSTR 1 ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಅದರ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದ ಸರ್?
TDS 0.075% ನೀವು ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
GSTR 1 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಸರ್?
ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. And it is
ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನಾವು. ಹಾ ಸರ್.
And while you are paying it, then that because it is a TCS, tax collected at source.
Tax collected at source on sales.
Yeah. It has to effectively reach the person to whom you are sending. He has to get that credit end of the day. So you have to report. You have to report.
Hello.
Yeah, you can go ahead, sir. Prashant Shetty, sir, you can go ahead.
Namaste. Thank you, Sukumarji, for hosting it. Thank you. Tumba insights ಸಿಕ್ತು. But okay, we were handled a turnover about 36 crores plus in a company. We found that VAT as well as GST ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ except statutory forms GST ಅಲ್ಲಿ and central excise ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಷ್ಟು ease of doing business GST ತುಂಬಾ ಗೋಜ್ಲು ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ 12 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್, 10 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಏನೋ ತೊಂದರೆ ಮಾಡೋ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಹಿಡಿಯಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾರು MSME ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೊಡೆತಗಳಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಗಂತೂ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Sir, ಅದರ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ as a responsible person from this fraternity, ease of doing ಈಗ sorry to, because you are an industrialist, I cannot get into your thought process. See, it is like how we see this problem. If we see it from ನಮ್ಮ viewpoint differ ಇರಬಹುದು. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ all these problems are compliance problems rather than compliance problems ಬರುವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜನರಲಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗಲೂ ಅದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? So yeah, this is generally everyone's. In fact, I just joking in one of the meeting, ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು US ನಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು, ಇಬ್ರು ಒಂದೇ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. They were both doing some online gaming that guy has prospered like anything, and Indian was struggling hard. ಅವ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? ಪಾಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ ಲೈಫ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. I don't know when I will see the money in the statement. I know I get reminded today when you said this as well. But GST go, VAT go, sales tax go you compare ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ I personally feel GST in another 1 year when it is completely technology ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ I think probably if you meet I will be definitely able to convince you no sir ease of doing is there ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು, because lot of notifications coming every day. But after a year you will feel how it will be, because now as a person who is handling at least 12 units, I have said you last 3 months before during the COVID also we got GST refunds of 30-40 lakhs, which was a major cash flow for us, and I don't know which officer has passed that order. Let me be very frank. When I saw the credit in the morning in my bank account, I called my accountant. ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಇದು ಯಾರದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸರ್ ಅದು GST refund ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. So now I will call this as ease of doing only. I mean, I am seeing it because I never expected that money to come to me. It has actually helped me to get 2 months salary. So there are some the coin will have two sides, few black spots, few bright spots. Let us only see bright spots. Black spot and ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ we will all enjoy our life. Sorry to say this. This is what I feel, sir.
ಸರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾವು ಫ್ರಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು.
No, I will be more happy to meet you in person. I think I will explain you. I think once you speak one-on-one, I think you will get a much better view on GST.
Definitely, sir. We will meet once.
ತೊಂದರೆಯಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆತರ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Otherwise, it's good for us, yes, but another 1 year, it's a big challenge. Every time there is a new notice, complaint. ಇವತ್ತು ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಸಹಿತ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು.
Yeah, I understand your frustration, but take it easy, sir. Everything will fall in line. I feel I'm a very good positive thinker. I always feel every problem will solve by itself. Problem ಬಂದಾಗ solve ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Let us be positive. Yes.
Prashant Shetty, sir, your voice is not clear. Audio is not clear, sir. Yeah. Okay.
No questions anymore?
Anybody is having any question?
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Actually, ಇವಾಗ GST ಬಂದು ವೆಂಡರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಸಪ್ಲೈರ್ಸ್ GST ನೇ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ 1 year 2 year ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು? GST ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ವಲ್ಲ?
That is all the discussion is now, right? ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನು, ಅವರು GST ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು
GST ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮುಂಚೆಯಿಂದ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ.
ಹೌದು.
ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ.
See, only way forward, simple accounting terminology ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, because going by the notifications what we have, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಈಗ ಇರುವಂತ notifications law position ಪ್ರಕಾರ, if you see ನೀವು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಈ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು January 1st 2021 ಇಂದ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್. ಈ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಈಗ ಬಂದಂತ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಮುಂಚಿಂದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ಗಳು ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ, ನನ್ನ ವ್ಯೂ ಇದು ಅಗೇನ್, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಫ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಫೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಔಟ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ನಾನು ಪುನಃ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಈಗಲೇ, ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 16 ಪ್ರಕಾರ 3 ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡಿನೈ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಮ್ಮಿ. ಅಟ್ ಲೋಯರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಡಿನೈ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ನಾಳೆ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಸರ್ವ್ ದ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ರೀಸನ್, ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅನದರ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫೈಲ್ಡ್ ದ ರಿಟರ್ನ್, ask him to pay back that GST what you have paid and reverse that GST whatever you have taken the credit and close the issue.
Okay, sir.
ಇವಾಗ ವೆಂಡರ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 60 ಡೇಸ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ 60 ಡೇಸ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 60 ಡೇಸ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅವ್ರು MSN ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಲೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ರೀಸನ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು?
60 days credit this is ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ತಾನೆ? ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು
ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ
ಅಲ್ಲ? ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ತಾನೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋದು?
ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಆದಾಗ 60 ಡೇ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು, ರೈಟ್? 60 ಡೇ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ తర్వాత ಅವ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೇಸ್ ಎ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ದ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮತ್ತೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಮಂತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನೌ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಈವನ್ ಟು ರೇಸ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ನೋಟ್, ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ.
Uma.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we will close the session, sir. Okay?
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah. And just I request all the participants to switch on your video. I will take one group photo on the screen. Screenshot I will be taking. Please switch on your screen. Yes, sir. Please switch on your video. Please switch on your video.
Sorry, sir.
I requested the participant to switch on the video screen, sir. Okay, I can take the photo. Yes, ready? Ready? Please switch on your video screen. I will be taking the group photo. Those who are attended for the session.
Someone has raised a hand, I believe.
Madam is always she raised the hand, sir, since beginning.
Yeah, better we clarify her doubt if it is.
Clear. Any doubt, Mr. Madam Supriya?
No, sir.
Yeah, can I have one or two feedback about the program? I request Baliga sir, share your feedback about the program. Just short
Okay.
Feedback, sir. Baliga sir or Mr. Biju? Yeah, you can go ahead, Mr. Biju.
It was a nice session that gave a lot of insight into the new items, amendment that is happening, and it was wonderfully organized and it was quite informative. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Mr. Baliga sir? Baliga sir, you can unmute and you can speak, sir.
Now I think I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I was watching on the desktop, and now I just shifted over to this for the video thing. Thank you so much, Bhaskar sir. It was quite informative. Although, I mean, we leave all these to our auditors and accountants, it was required for us to understand the basics of all these things, new rules. Thank you so much. It was nicely presented. We got to know quite a lot about these things, especially the misconceptions of whatever things are there. No, that was our. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Madam Supriya, you can give your feedback.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Because ತುಂಬಾ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು, ನ್ಯೂ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
Thank you,
Mr. Umesh, ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ, ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮು? ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Kumar, you are doing good things. You are doing a lot of good things for industry. So thank you so much. And Bhaskar sir ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. Okay. ನಮಗೆ you are not accountants, you are technical people, but even though it required these all things. But RCM ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಸಿಕ್ತು ಇವಾಗ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಸರ್ ಇವಾಗ RCM ನಮ್ಮ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ವರ್ಷ RCM ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ ಅದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ GST ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್ ಅದು?
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅದೇ
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದೇ ಸರಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟಕ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಓಕೆ, ನೈಸ್ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್. ಭಾಸ್ಕರ್ ಸರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
And on behalf of Pinya Industries, MSME sector, we thank you a lot, sir. My sincere thanks to you for accepting my request and organizing this program. And nice delivery by the Bhaskar Acharya sir on behalf of PA MSME. We will thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Mr. Shivakumar, and I respect your kind of commitment, and I wish I participate in this kind of discussions to make it more informative and educative to industries, because all these misconceptions make them more stressful. The industrialist shall be less stressed, and he should focus on business is my strong feel. And anytime you feel anything, I'm not trying to, I can be definitely a source of advisory for you people. Don't need to worry. From GST, whatever challenges you have, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will be very happy to clarify any doubts on GST.
And I just give the mobile number of Bhaskar sir. Please, you can make a note. 96320 44094. 96320 44094.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll be closing the session.
Bye. Take care, you all.
Thank you.
Bye.